question was, what is Aikido?
Right.
I think we're mature enough to realize we're not looking for a static answer. A static answer would be fundamentally unsatisfying.
Right.
But we are also interested in finding a living answer, and not some
Exactly.
ambiguous, well, it's something in the future that you'll eventually get to.
Right. Or philosophical or
Some
intellectual.
philosophical or intellectual.
Right.
Something alive which opens up into the moment. And that's exactly what we're hoping to open up to ourselves. So somehow the process itself, in terms of us discovering Aikido, to a certain extent, is Aikido itself. We have to be doing Aikido in order to discover Aikido. In terms of Takemusu, Takemusu being that both the momentary, in the moment, that spontaneous expression of freedom without thought, and also the process of evolution that occurs over time, and the embracing of the principles that are required in order to live that, and the change that the individual goes through, in order for that to become actually who they are. The birth of that creative potential.
Right, and see, I would even add to that, there's the birth, obviously the birth of something that emerges that's new. That birthing is an actual takemusu, but there's also the labor pains. This, where we're speaking about stepping into something that's uncomfortable, and not in the when you're in the uncomfortable. Okay, you're dealing with that. You're trying to find something new, but as that starts to transform into something new, that's the takemusu process, the takemusu aiki process, where it's transforming into a new harmony, or reorganizing at a new evolutionary level, which has a completely different perspective, a completely different view, a completely different relationship to everything.
Yes. And that new view operates on such a different structure than what we've been taught. In terms of, we've been taught to acquire, we've been taught to protect. We've been taught to measure ourselves versus the other, to find our sense of identity based on, I have more than you, I have less than you, I'm bigger than you, I'm smaller than you, I'm more intelligent, I'm less intelligent, this type of measuring. And when we give up these reference points and we operate in the sense of flow, surrendered to a certain extent, a quality of trust and faith, and guided by an intention for freedom, an intention for love, an intention for transformation,
for higher knowledge, for growth,
for a greater perspective, for awakening,
which is actually quite contrary to what the ego entrapped mind wants to do.
Well, the ego-trapped mind loves those words, but approaches them from, okay, how do I get that?
I know I do.
But it tries to possess it.
Yeah, exactly. Acquire, acquisitional.
And we can't possess it.
Right.
We actually let them possess us.
Exactly.
And that's the reversal that I think most people have. It's hard for the mind to wrap.
And it's even, look, it's hard for just the average person coming in, but it's even harder when you have when the ego has a huge amount of investment in the time it has spent in developing, let's say, Aikido. There's the rank, there's the style, there's your teacher, there's your relationship with your teacher, there's your students, there's the techniques, there's your ideas about Aikido. All these things, as beautiful as they may be, or as dysfunctional as they may be, they become a hindrance. They become a trap. They become self-limiting. In one hand, they're self-empowering, because they give you a new way of being in the world. But to really evolve beyond, that which is waiting to evolve has to die for something new to come through. And that means letting go of the attachments to the idea of who you are with your Aikido, your style. Doesn't mean you throw away your style. It doesn't mean you throw away your techniques or your relationship with your teacher. But in one sense, this dying is it's not right to say it's a metaphorical letting go, because it has to actually be a letting go. You have to let it go. You have to, the lower knowledge has to be
a relaxation. It's a real
the lower knowledge has to be released, relinquished, renounced for the higher knowledge to come through.
And you have to go through that period, that period where things get actually worse, to a certain extent, uncomfortable, unknown. before that emergence into
Absolutely.
something new.
Absolutely.
But were you talking about in reference to the techniques, the styles, the teachers, the culture? You're mentioning for me one of the shadows of Aikido is the attachment to all of these things as being Aikido itself.
Exactly.
As identifying the belt, the clothes, the
culture,
heritage, the culture. That's Aikido.
the lineage.
The lineage.
Yeah.
Rebel.
He was a revolutionary.
He was not repeating the process that his teacher was doing.
No, absolutely not. No.
He was expressing from his own vital perspective.
Right.
And in that, Aikido was born. Aikido was not a repetition of an ancient practicer who just accumulated wisdom over a long period of time.
Yeah. And it stands a danger of becoming that.
Yes, exactly.